Hello everyone! I was inspired by Level 12's Q&A video to make a video talking about how my thoughts on Hetalia Pairings have changed through the years, and since I've been here for what will soon be 8 years, wow, that's been a long time. It feels like just yesterday I was saying I've been here for 7 years. Where has this year gone? I've been through some changes and I think it would be fun to talk about them. Without further ado, let's begin. I've found myself leaning toward more controversial and rare pairings through the years. That's not to say I've never shipped enemies to lovers pairings. I've shipped frucks since day one, but fruck isn't entirely made of they hate each other but also fuck each other energy. Enemies to lovers pairings make up a lot of pairings I pay attention to now, and that's pretty different than when I first got into Hetalia. I'm not entirely sure why this is the case, but I can guess it's due to two things: my growing attraction to enemies to lovers tropes, and my tendency to be a contrarian. So fun fact, I used to ship this pairing. The reason I never talk about it is because it was a very embarrassing time for me and I would rather forget that period of time. I only bring it up here to say there was a time I shipped it. I have no fanworks of it that I've made, so thankfully no one has been exposed to it. I don't plan to ever go back to that pairing because it would just remind me of my past, so we will just leave it at that. My relationship with OCX canon ships has been a long one. In the past I loved shipping it and making OCX canon pairings, then I went through a phase of not liking them because I felt pressured by others to. This was actually quite a lengthy phase and I can recognize now that it wasn't healthy since it stifled my creativity and made me feel like I had to hide parts of myself. Thankfully I've mostly left that phase behind me. Now I can explore a lot more dynamics with shippings that I previously repressed. It's kind of funny that my whole phase of not liking Canon X OC ships was the same time I wasn't into enemies to lovers ships, and I can't help but think there was a pattern there. But regardless, I'm glad I'm out of that mindset, and I no longer care about what people might say about me in regards to shipping. I'm sure some people have noticed the lack of lesbian pairings that I focus a lot of my attention on. While I used to consume more material in the past, I don't really do so as much now. However, the reason for it isn't what you might think. A lot of time shipping is based on one's own desires in a relationship. Because I view myself in male characters, that is why there is not often attention given to lesbian ships from me. That doesn't mean I dislike them, I'm just explaining why I don't often focus on them. With that said, I'm sure there are many judgments that can be made based on the pairings that I like. So here's the last section, and another fun fact about myself. I used to hate this pairing. I know it sounds absolutely impossible with all the content I've made for it, my upcoming video talking about it, my documacro, you get the point. But then, how did I turn from a hater to one of the very few content creators as of present? Well, I used to be one of those people that hated it because of the history. However, I started getting more into history, reading books, and started getting into fanworks by some Rome Hunt shippers, and I found myself starting to fall in love with this pairing. I was nervous to make it known for a long time, but I've started to become more comfortable with it. I mean, it can still get pretty awkward around people that aren't into pairings like it, and I don't show my fan art a lot in real life, but I've become invested into this pairing. It's kind of surprising how invested I've become considering I haven't shipped it as long as I have Rook or Roble, but it's kind of impressive in a way. So that's everything. I know this was another shorter video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time.